Hey guys, Starcraft Grandmaster here, bringing you another great game. Here we have Anarchy, the Protoss player, who also goes by the name Loui or Sir Loui, and we have Sjow, the Terran player. And I don't know too much background about Anarchy or Sir Loui, but I do know about Sjow that despite the fact that his name is Sjow, he has earned the nickname of Blind Terran because he doesn't scout early, which does have some big economic advantages, especially later on in the game when the when the minerals that they make start to compound. But early on, it has landed him in some trouble. But the economy is just part of the payoff. He always says that the early scouting doesn't really do much. It just shows whether they're going to cheese or not, which doesn't change the strategy. So that's something that's pretty unique about him. We come back here to the Protoss player. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. We have a pylon up at exactly 10 supply. Timed it pretty perfectly. Same here with Terran, even though that's what you expect from such high level players. Here we have Terran sending an SCV out. Looks like he's going to wall in for both of his bases with that SCV for both his original base and his natural expansion over here. And he will be building a barracks. It'd be interesting to see what he does with that coming up. Over here with Protoss, we have a probe being sent out because, unlike Sjow, he does like to scout early. And we have an assimilator and a gateway going up right now for the Protoss player as he begins to look for exactly where Terran's base is going to be, because right now on this map there are 3 different possible spawning points for the enemy. They can spawn in each of the 4 corners of the map. Right now they happen to be across from each other, but that is not always the case. Sees that he's not in this corner. He's probably going to make his way over to where his actual base is. Sjow is already going for an orbital command upgrade over there. That income from the mules is going to help him a lot. So Sjow's built a marine, which looks like he's going to be sending out to scout. And that marine is not going to be able to take out that probe. So he's going to get a nice little look at what the Terran player is doing. Not that it helps much at this point. Nothing out of the ordinary. All he sees is there's no cheese. Right now the Marine is making the same mistake that the Protoss player made and going to where there is no base. You can't blame him. It's random where the bases spawn. So right here we see part of the advantages of early scouting. In a map like this, let's look at their mini map. Right now, Anarchy did scout already. He knows that there's no base in the top corner, and he knows exactly where Terran is, and he has a basic idea of what he's doing right now, which is not too much, just putting up a few Marines to defend against an early rush maybe. And meanwhile, here we have Sjow, who at this point knows nothing about Anarchy, but either way, Sjow does probably have a slightly better economy at this point, except for the fact that the Protoss player might have been chrono boosting. Let's see how the income is right now. Yeah, Protoss has a slightly better economy as far as minerals go, but gas-wise, the Terran player is pretty far ahead, doubling the gas intake of the Terran player. The Protoss player. So Sjow has about 5 Marines out right now. That's going to be good to defend against any little early harassments or anything that Protoss can send his way. He just scared away his stalker. Built a bunker there to just pretty much have a solid little early game defense. Doesn't take too much investment since he can just what's it called? Just forgot. You can just here we go, salvage. Sorry. You can just salvage that bunker and get all the minerals he put into it back. Even though he can't spend the minerals while it's in there, but it's a good investment this early on in the game. It'll help out a lot. And here you see Anarchy he's building a robotic facility and a couple gateways. He already has a warp gate upgrade. He has 1 sentry out. So it looks like he's going to be going for a decently early infantry movement, maybe. The robotics facility is gonna be interesting to see what he builds out of there. Alright, an observer, nothing too out of the ordinary. Gonna have a good scout. I don't think Terran has any detection yet. Look around. Any anti-air, any ravens, any nothing except the orbital command, which has really no reason to run a sweep over his own base at a point like this. Here we can see that the Protoss player sent a stalker to the Zelnaga, I really don't know how you pronounce it, so tell me if I'm doing it wrong. But either way, he sent one to the tower to see if Terran plans to make any expansions out towards the northwest corner of the map. He will have to go through Protoss first. So that right there is basically, even though it only has a small circle of vision right here, it will help the Protoss player tell if the Terran player is going to expand northwest. So right now, even though army-wise, and economy-wise, it looks like the Terran player is doing much better. The Protoss player does have more information. And here we have an anti-air turret, which is gonna have a conflict right now with that observer who's coming in. You can see them timing it away. I think they can survive one hit from an anti-air turret. Let's see. And here we can see that Terran has some siege tanks, and he survives with his whole shield. With no shield, but he does have almost all of his health. And here we have an engineering bay for the Terran player. Doesn't look like he's doing anything out of it right now, but seems to be going vehicle heavy. He's building his third factory right now. He has some siege tanks out for early defense. He has some Helions. Looks like he might be going out to scout. There's a few more here. Oh, and he's gonna be, or he's not. Don't know why he didn't, but he decided not to confront the stalker who was there, and instead he decides to take his own tower right here in the north, on the east side of the map. See if there's anything there, and he's sending his Helions just around the maps on a scouting mission. It looks like. Meanwhile, over here with Protoss, he's transformed all of his gateways into warp gates, and is started a robotics bay. So you'll likely see some Colossi coming out. That's how you say it. Pretty sure it is. And out of the forge, he's upgrading ground weapons. So that's going to be interesting to see what he ends up building. Looks like it's definitely going to have a few sentries in it, based on what we saw before. Maybe a couple stalkers. And he's building a void ray right now out of his Stargate. So that's definitely going to be a diverse army that's going to be coming here from Protoss. Terran seems to be going almost entirely vehicle, except for those few Marines he built up there for early defense. Over here we just saw a little switch, I believe, of the starport, giving the starport the reactor that the barracks once had. So it saves a little bit of time. Now he's going to train one Viking and one medevac out of there. Medevac probably just to support those 5 Marines. It's only 100 minerals and 100 gas, I think, so it's not too much of an investment. So right now, Sjow is going to be expanding to his 3rd base, and Loui already has 3 bases with pretty good economy at all 3 bases right now. This one is building up right now, and he has 1 probe over there. Maybe just monitor the base. Maybe he plans to take that soon. Let's see. And this is the first time I ever watched this matchup, by the way, so everything that I do, all my reactions are completely genuine, and if I seem stupid or I don't know what I'm talking about, then tell me, because I'm going to be the first to say I'm not the best player out there. And probably either of these people in one-on-one will beat me 9 out of 10 times. So the Helions engage the stalker, get control of that tower. And oh, those 2 void rays are going to be a problem for those Helions. They're going to have to either run away or die. he decides to scramble. The Void Rays don't even get one kill, but they do get those Hellions away from that tower over there. See how the Protoss player is developing his army, building a Twilight Council. He's looks like he's going to be doing just a mix of infantry and maybe a few Colossi and a couple Void Rays. So that's a pretty typical Protoss army right there. He has about 10 Zealots, 4 Sentries, 4 Stalkers, and 2 Colossi right there backing him up. And right now the Protoss player is just making his presence known everywhere. He's putting pylons around just so that the Terran player knows if he takes a base, the Protoss player is going to know about it. Meanwhile, Sjow has sent an SCV over here. Looks like he will probably be expanding there in the near future. Sjow still seems to be going pretty vehicle heavy with a mix of about 4 or 5 Vikings now. About 6 Vikings actually. Or 7, sorry. And he is building up some Thors right now. Let's see how upgraded his vehicles are. No upgrades yet, but I would not be surprised to see a few on the way. Let's see if he's upgrading from his factory. If I can even find his factory. I'm not going to waste any more of your time looking for the factory. But, oh, here we go. Yeah, he's upgrading his weapons right now on his vehicles, which it surprises me that that's all he has upgraded, because it looks like he is making a big investment right now into vehicles. He has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 factories just in that one frame. Over here he has 5 more. He has 5. And here we have Ghost Academy, which I haven't seen any ghosts yet, but that's going to be interesting to see if he is able to get the elusive nuke on Protoss, if that's what he's going for. Looks like he's going to be using his medevacs mostly for transportation purposes, though, as he gets a couple Thors out. There you go, there's a second Thor. And this looks like a pretty strong army right now. But let's look at Protoss. And Protoss has a nice army of his own. He has 5 Colossi right now. That's really good, especially against Terran's mostly vehicle army. With the exception of those Vikings, which looks like they might cause a problem. Even though I don't think the Protoss player has stopped making Void Rays for the most part, so I think they'll be able to hit in air mode. Looks like it's going to be these 5 Colossi right here. But overall, this looks, as far as what they're building, I'd have to say that it looks like it's a pretty even match. Let's look at the army value. Terran player is slightly ahead right now. He's 1,000 minerals ahead and about 1,000 Vespene ahead. But what you build isn't like your real test. It's how much you build isn't your test. It's what you build and how you're going to use it. And right here, we're going to have a nice battle. As we tell you on the approach, it looks like it's going to be an all-out attack. Protoss player microing pretty nicely. He has a few force fields up. Not force fields, guardian fields. And those Vikings do look to be a problem for those Colossi right now, as the Protoss player seems to have completely lost this battle. Falls back and retreats. At this point, if the Terran made a final push, he would definitely have a chance at possibly winning the game right now, but he decides to play it safe, step back, and give his army a time to replenish too.